Welcome to Living in 3D Power, a space where questions matter, stories heal, and joy is our practice. I'm Dr. Amber Sessoms, and each week I sit down with my daughter Emma to talk honestly about life, identity, and the power of wonder. This season, we're guided by a sacred invitation. What would it look like if joy was our strategy, not our reward? Here, we discover truths long buried, discern paths toward freedom, and devote ourselves to living with authenticity and love. Together, across generations, we're learning that joy is not the prize at the finish line. It's the rhythm that carries us forward. Welcome back to a much cozier Living in 3D Power, Season 2, y'all. And in this season, we're going to get curious, we're going to get honest, and get free together. During my much-needed pause, I pulled out every journal I've ever collected, every journal, every workbook. You can see them here. I might be missing one or two, but I pulled them all out, and stacks of half-filled notebooks, prompts I never finished, practices I promised myself I'd return to. And at first, I felt guilty seeing so many unfinished pages. But then I realized these journals and workbooks were evidence of the searching, my longing, my becoming. They reminded me that joy leaves a trail if we're willing to go back and gather it. And that's what this season is about. Not just how we survive hard things, because we're in the midst of some very hard things right now, but what it means to design our lives around what sustains us. And to me, joy is a big part of that sustenance. But let me reframe joy for those who see it mainly as a rewarding emotion. I think one of the reasons many of us see joy as a reward is because we've been confusing joy with happiness. Happiness is circumstantial. It depends on what's happening. I get the job, I'm happy. Everything goes smoothly, I'm happy. If life feels good, I'm happy. But the moment those circumstances change, the happiness can slip away. And because we confuse the two, we treat joy the same way, as something we only get once everything is finally right. Joy becomes a prize at the end of a struggle, like dessert at the end of the meal. And for me, that would probably be peach cobbler with some vanilla bean ice cream on top. But joy is not the same as happiness. Joy is deeper. Joy is steadier. Joy is rooted. It doesn't rise and fall with circumstances, and that's what makes joy so powerful. It doesn't have to be a reward at the end. It can be the strategy that carries us through. So when we ask the guiding question about what would it look like if joy was our strategy and not our reward, what we're really saying is, how would your life shift if joy wasn't dependent on what's happening, but became a part of your daily practice, your anchor, your way of resisting despair? And as a Christian, I believe joy is a gift, a fruit of the Spirit that already is within us. It's not reactive, it's not conditional, it's not something the world gives, so darn sure the world can't take it away. And in a world that tries to convince us joy has to be deserved, we're choosing to believe something different. So this season, Em and I will be pulling from journals and workbooks, our own and those that inspire us, like Sonya Renee Taylor's Your Body is Not an Apology, and the Black Joy Playbook by Tracy McKell Lewis Gigetz. I hope I'm saying your name right. But we're building the rhythm of rest, laughter, and hope. And we're learning from the children in our lives, especially Emma, what it means to embody joy as a form of resistance. So with that, let's begin.
It's me, it's me, it's me. It's me, it's me, it's me.
Hey, it's me, Emma. Welcome back to Living in 3D Power. And today we're going to be talking about joy. And It's season 2. Yeah! Yeah!
A little excited, Emma?
Just a little bit. And today we're doing a Mad Lib. And in case you don't know what a Mad Lib is, Mommy, explain.
So you fill out nouns, adjectives, verbs, any other prompts on here. And then you take those same answers that you did. So what we did was we read each other the prompts and then we answered for each other. So we wrote down we dictated each other's answers. And then on the other side, we filled in the responses. And now what we're going to do live is, or on the podcast, is we're going to read each other our story. And the reason we got to this, I kind of told the listeners ahead of time, but it's one of your favorite authors. So, and one of mine too, Sonya Renee Taylor, The Body is Not an Apology workbook, Tools for Living Radical Self-Love. And you have her puberty book, which, your face, which you probably read how many times, front to back?
Like 3.
3? 3 times front to back has really helped you improve in your reading. So shout out to you, Sonya Renee Taylor, for writing such a pivotal book in this young 5th grader's life, because she had lots of questions and we've had really good conversations about it. But she has a Mad Lib style, make your own story, because she's about, and same as me, about rewriting the stories in our lives, right? This world will tell us as Black women and Black girls that we're not enough, that we're undesirable, we're not attractive, our skin is too dark, our hair is too nappy, all these things that are untrue, right? And what we learn about ourselves is that we are more than enough, that we are beautiful, that we are perfect, and because God designed us, and when he designed us, he said we are good. So it's unlearning those things, but I love this idea of taking a Mad Lib. I've never seen anyone do this, so I've been looking at all these different journals that I have, and I'm like, this is such a cool idea. Brought it to you, and you're like, ooh, I want to do that.
I done that when I was in 2nd grade.
A Mad Lib?
And we did like partners, and it turned out really funny.
Yeah, they're usually early, silly, and usually makes you laugh. And I think it's a really good time to do this, particularly right now, because we need to make sure that we are still cultivating and still owning our joy. So I think this is a beautiful practice. So the prompt was definitely, you do the story, I do the story. And what we're going to do, because we haven't read it yet, we're going to read it to y'all listeners. But let's start out with what the story is. So on the first page, it says new story is the title. And then it says your name. So of course, Emma. But you wrote what for me? You didn't write my name. You wrote
Mommy.
You wrote Mommy.
That's your name, though. That's what I call you.
True. Okay.
I'm not gonna be like, hey, Amber, give me a juice box.
Yeah, I'd be like, excuse me?
You'd be like,
Who you talking to? Yeah, I try again. I'm not your little friend, right? The second question was noun that describes something special / magical / powerful. You said food. Why did you say food?
because it's like explosion in your mouth, and it's so many different flavors.
And you're referencing what right now?
Ratatouille.
Yes, and Ratatouille. And you talked about that, remember? So a previous episode, we will link this episode, and it got a lot of views because you were describing, what were you describing? I can't remember what you were describing. What it felt like to be free, I think, or something like that. I was asking you, like, what does it feel like to be free? And that's what you said. Like, you were like, it feels like that scene from Ratatouille where he's trying all the foods and mixing it together, and you can see the swirls and all the magical things happening. And I absolutely love that description of thinking about when you feel free. You said it feels like fireworks. So thinking about, yes, food can be absolutely magical. So all the chefs out there, all the people who are foodies, we're foodies here.
Yes.
Food can be magical. So I love that you use that as a noun. And what was my noun?
Unicorn.
I was kind of literal, but yeah, unicorn is very magical because it's a mythical creature. Yeah. Positive adjective, you said amazing. What did I say?
Beautiful.
Beautiful. Body part / part of your identity you struggle to radically love. You said forehead. Why?
Because it's big.
Now, Emma thinks her big forehead. I was going to say her big forehead. Emma thinks her forehead is big, but let me tell you, you know what Pop-Up Eddie calls us and my brothers? 5 head instead of 4 head because we have such a high forehead. He's like, it's not just a forehead, it's a 5 head. Like, so if you count, it's so big that it's not a 4 head, it's a 5 head.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
So he would always say that I have a very high forehead, but I have a lot of knowledge. So it means, you know, that you're smart and intelligent. So it's
That's
funny
what I
that,
say.
that you said that you have a high forehead or a big forehead because I'm like, you have a very normal sized forehead. So Addie, you know, she used to, when she was a teenager, she used to swoop her hair down to hide. Or no, she would wear a headband so she could hide her forehead because she was so self-conscious about her forehead. And it's just a family trait. But you don't have the very much noon high forehead, but that's what you wrote as a body part you struggle with. And I appreciate that what Sonya did is she's identifying that because her book is about body positivity, loving your body the way it was designed and not feeling like you have to fit into a mold that society says in order to be beautiful, you have to be thin and have to have a perfectly proportioned forehead and all these things that are untrue because God designed you like that. And what did I say?
You said stomach.
Why you make that face?
It's not true.
It's not true? Okay.
Your stomach's beautiful. And you had 3 kids, so what do you expect?
You know what? Look at out of the mouth of babes. She's right, but this is actually a really big struggle area with me, and I think particularly at this age because as you get older, your hormones change, and what happens is you start getting more belly fat because your body is going through all these changes. You know how you're going through changes right now? At my age, I'm also going through changes with my hormones, and it's giving me some extra jigglies. So I'm struggling currently with that area, but you're right to put it in perspective. I did birth 3 babies, and so my stomach had to stretch, and I gained 75 pounds with you. I gained, I think, 60 with Maya, and I don't know how much with JoJo. But your body doesn't go back right after that. So looking at it and saying, you know what? It is beautiful the way it is because this body and this stomach housed 3 babies, healthy babies that I birthed. So thank you for that perspective. The other prompt was name of a gift, talent, insight, or ability you would like to have. And you said you would like to time travel. Why do you say you want to time travel?
So I could stop things from happening or prevent things from happening.
Oh, so you would go to the future?
Or the past.
Or the past in today's present society. If you could time travel, where would you time travel to prevent or stop something?
I would go to when Martin Luther King was alive. Well, I had a dream, like I time traveled, and I was where Martin Luther King was before he got shot, and then I like protected him.
Oh, so you protected him so he didn't get assassinated?
Yeah.
When did you have that dream?
Like a couple of days ago.
A couple of days ago.
I don't know.
Oh, what do you think that the purpose of that dream was?
Maybe to show me that I can be brave.
That you can be brave. Yeah, definitely you can be brave. But I think you're brave doing this podcast is brave. The things that you share are brave. I think too what's coming up for me is like when you said about protecting Martin Luther King, and you wouldn't know all of this because you're not watching the news, because the news is just there's a lot of stuff going on, but you know about the assassination, the shooting of Charlie Kirk, and we've talked about that in church. We've talked about that as a family, and some people are comparing him to Martin Luther King Jr. And I just saw a post today that showed a picture of them standing side by side, and Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. is holding up a sign saying, "We are not the same." So when you said that and thinking about how you wanted to protect him, and I think there's a level of protection going on, particularly right now, there has always been with his family and those who he was here to liberate, is that people are telling lies and stories about who he was and comparing him and saying they were the same people is not true. And also people, you have to think at the time, and what you learn about Martin Luther King Jr. in school is that he was a beloved person. you would think so. But if he was so beloved, then why was he assassinated? He was trying to...
Because people were racist.
People were racist. He was trying to dismantle these walls and these silos that said, white people, you have your own fight. Black people, you have your own fight. But he was bringing us together. And that's a really dangerous thing. If we can keep the narrative that we're so different, that we don't have the same issues and we shouldn't work together, then the world continues on in this horrible journey of destruction. Yeah. So he was actually finding some commonalities, and especially poor people and people from the working force that were being treated unfairly. And he was also speaking out against the war, the Vietnam War, because he didn't believe in war. And we know this country makes billions of dollars off of war. So him speaking truth to power, there's a cost to that. And some people are equating that to Charlie Kirk, which we know and what we believe is antithetical to what we believe about God and Christianity and love and humanity and loving your neighbor, right? That we are supposed to speak love and see us as one and the same and not as different. Not to say that what happened is right? We know that is horrible, that no one, because of any of their beliefs, even if people deem you a horrible human being, a racist human being, doesn't mean that you should be murdered for that, right? Yeah. Both can be true, right? I think that's the hard thing in society. We say one or the other has to be true. Like, both can be true. You could have said horrible things in your life, but doesn't mean that we celebrate your death. It means that we condemn the ways in which you were murdered, but we say we have to do better as a society because there are people that rightfully said that he was saying hurtful things. Mm-hmm. But that doesn't ever give anyone the right to take someone's life. Yeah. What do you want to say?
Said, read people's mind.
Read people's minds. I think sometimes I ask God, like, is this discernment, God? Are you giving this? Or is this just me just projecting and thinking I know what people are thinking? But I think there's something really...
Can you think what I'm thinking?
Yes.
What?
That I'm yapping. I'm a mind reader, aren't I?
I was also thinking about pizza.
Pizza?
Because they're on my socks.
I wouldn't have got that, but I was thinking she's going to say I'm yapping.
Yeah, you're like...
I'm a mind reader, y'all. I have the gift of mind reading. Look, it's coming true. But I think I said it because sometimes I wonder, because this world, people will smile in your face and call you horrible, racist, misogynistic things behind your back. So I want to read people's minds. I just want to know, what are you really thinking? You're saying this thing that sounds really good, but I don't believe it to be true. So there's a level of discernment in that, but it's like, I want to be able to read people's minds. So I know what your intent is. There's also a camp of people that right now are saying, because the way people are in this world right now, because they're just outright saying really hateful things, that is actually a good thing because we know what we can fight. Because it's harder to fight something that's in the darkness. And we talk about in scripture, God will bring things that are in darkness to light. And these things are coming to the light. So now we know how to organize. Now we know how to stand up. Now we know where we put our efforts in, because people are being just outright blatant about what they don't like or who they don't like. So I think that's an interesting perspective to think about. She's making his face at me. Is it pizza and time travel again? Is this not time travel? That I'm yapping.
No, I'm thinking about my and cotton candy.
What?
I don't know why. Cotton candy just came to my mind, and I was like, "Oh, Maya loves cotton candy."
She does love cotton candy.
She eats like a whole bag. She's
it's not healthy.
It's like
and not even the good cotton candy, like the cotton candy that's in the container.
Yeah, it's like
it's probably been in the container for months. Not the cotton candy you get fresh when it's like,
yes,
you swirl it up.
Carnival.
Yeah.
Stuff. She eats it from like a bag in a bin. She's like, I don't know why she likes it. It tastes like sugar.
That's exactly what it is. It's like sugar with dye. There's no worse combination.
It tastes nasty.
The fact that just popped in your head with pizza and all the other things is random, but okay. We can't even get through the questions. Wait, what's the other prompt? The number 11.
No, 10.
We didn't do 10? Ah, okay.
Verb phrase describing what you feel called to do for those you will serve / your most important job. You said liberate.
Liberate. Yeah, it's one of my values, one of my goals in life is because there's so much brokenness in this world, right? Because of the narratives and how Sonya's helping us write a new story. So liberation means like, how do we know who we truly are, who we're designed to be? We have to unlearn the stories and write new ones. So liberation is like, if everyone in this world knew the purpose of life, the purpose of being on this earth, and also their purpose on this earth, and it's not rooted in hatred, it's rooted in love. So if they understood that, I think people would be more liberated. And you wrote, make people happy. Why'd you say that?
Because I don't like seeing people sad.
You sure don't.
When I see people sad, I want answers now.
Ooh.
And I want to know who did it or what did it.
Ah, then what would you do if you knew the answer?
If it was a person, I would talk to them and be like, why would you do that to my friend or my family member? What is wrong with you? You're a terrible person.
You're a terrible person.
I don't get how some people find it funny when people get sad.
There's a lot of that going on right now, right? And sometimes, like, in order to be who, whatever the story you created in your head to be, you have to make other people feel small. Toni Morrison was talking about this, and she was talking about, in order for you to be who you are, you have to stand on top of someone or push someone down. Who does that make you? So if you took that away, who would you be without hurting someone else? Like, who would you be? Would you be any good? Would you be smart? Would you be love? Like, would you be things without it? But people are scared to figure out what that is. So we always have to create this other class of people.
If I hurt someone's feelings, I come to them and say, I'm really sorry.
So if someone comes to you and says, you hurt my feelings?
Or if I know I hurt their feelings, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to say that.
I have seen you do that in person. Or what if you disagree? What if someone says that you hurt their feelings and you don't agree?
That usually doesn't happen.
Has it ever happened?
Not that I think of in this moment.
So if it happened, you wouldn't be like, you're being so sensitive. The face you're making, if y'all aren't watching the video, she just did this wide open face, like she's gasping, like in disbelief that she would never do that. Would you never do that?
Why are you being so sensitive? Ugh.
Well, I think sometimes, recently, as I'm navigating perimenopause and all the things, sometimes when I get frustrated, I'm like, you're being dramatic. And you're like, I'm not being dramatic.
You always do that, especially when I'm doing homework.
Well, homework has been a thing. 5th grade is challenging. And parents of 5th graders, particularly parents that are millennials, will understand this because the way that y'all learn the math, I don't understand it. It makes absolutely no sense. I had a friend, shout out to Dr. Erin Harper, who I think posted a reel about this because she was like, this 5th grade math, y'all, her son's in 4th grade. 4th grade is where it changes. But that math, which y'all are learning, is ridiculous. So when it comes to me helping you, it turns into this battle where you're sitting here being like, that is not how we learned it. And I'm like, girl, I know I can do this math, this fraction right here. And you sitting here battling me talking about that's not right. She's looking at the camera like, because what happened? Who was right?
You.
And all I was doing was trying to help you. And you all mad, flailing around, having a whole breakdown.
I'm sorry.
Wait, I didn't hear you.
I'm sorry.
You're sorry.
But
we did have to apologize because I got really frustrated. So I was like, I'm sorry. I didn't have to yell.
Yeah.
It gets so frustrating. But we're working on it. We're working on trusting ourselves and being like, you know what? Maybe I don't know how you do it. You could teach me. Or also that first part where it's in the rectangle, it shows you the example. So that helps me learn. Oh, she's learning it differently. And it also helps you to review because you learned it in class that day, but sometimes it's helpful to go back and review because maybe you misheard it or you just need a refresher. And that's okay because homework is practice to prepare you to make sure that you understand the content. So we're okay with that. Working
and
on it.
also, you keep on talking about how, like, my attitude is changing because of puberty.
Well, I'm like, the hormones, yes. And the new thing that you're doing right now that I don't like, because you did it again yesterday, the mean girl look. I don't know where you got that from, but I know when I noticed it. But I'm wondering if you're picking this up from your so-called friends. But this mean girl look where you're making this look of disgust and looking down and flaring your nostrils is not it. So someone that you think is a friend or someone that you don't know, you might be thinking you're being funny. Remember we talked about that? If you think you're being funny and people will look at it as like not being funny, you're a mean girl. And you don't ever want how you carry yourself to be attributed to a negative characteristic of you. But also, sometimes that happens just because of who you are and just what you look like. So we have to disrupt that. But also, if someone's like, she's a mean girl because she made that face at me, you got to own that and be like, that's actually not funny. And I need to stop making that face and check my facial expression.
I haven't done it in a while.
You did it yesterday. And you're stopping yourself from doing it right now. And we're very facially expressive people, right? Like we make facial expressions, which is not a bad thing, but sometimes they can get misinterpreted by some people. Depending on who they are, it could be right or wrong. But we just want to check our faces. I have friends, like we'll be in a group chat and they'll be like, I'm in a meeting right now and I can't fix my face. I'm turning my camera off, right? Because the way the meeting is going down is not good. And I think it's important that we can show our emotions, but I also think people read your facial expression. You know how sometimes I'll talk to Maya about that and I'll be like, Maya, you're walking around frowning.
She's like,
you look like you're being held hostage and you're around family. So when people see that, or if you struggle to make friends, but are you looking like you're open to making friends, right? So
I always have a smile on my face.
we don't always have to, but you also don't always have to have a smile on your face because there's something, and particularly for girls and women, you ever have someone come to you say, why aren't you smiling? You need to smile. No one's ever said that to you? That's very much the thing that usually older people will say to girls and women, that we're always supposed to be smiling. But I notice that they don't say the same thing to men. So you don't always have to be smiling.
Well, 80% of the time.
Yeah. But it's being true to what you're feeling. And if you're having a bad day, you're allowed to have a bad day. But the mean girl face, nah, we're working on that. Okay, so number 11 then. Now describing whom you feel called to serve. And you said God. Why'd you say God?
Because he's our savior.
You better come on with it, Jesus. God, Jesus. So describing who you feel called to serve. So you, through your life, your little short life, have already acknowledged that and said, okay, I'm here to serve God. But how do you actually do that is what you're learning, right? Like we know our purpose is to make sure that we're embodying God's love and showing that to other people. How you do that? Youth church, and you're learning that.
They taught us to have a spiritual habit.
Oh, what's yours?
Reading the Bible.
Come on now, spiritual habit. Oh, that's good. I love that, having a spiritual habit. And I actually talked about this earlier with the listeners about what I've been doing in the morning. And even though...
You wake up at 5 in the morning.
5:30. Although last night, because I didn't get to bed till 1, I could not go to sleep till 1.
You stayed up watching
She stayed up too late, and then I
You
couldn't go to sleep.
You could have said...
I was like, you gotta go to bed. So then I didn't get up early this morning. So when you got up, I was still reading. And part of my spiritual habit is reading the Bible. So I'm reading through the Old Testament once throughout the year.
I randomly pick one.
You randomly pick a scripture?
I just and then I point to
one. Which book are you using? Which Bible?
The Black Kids one.
Okay, good. Yeah, so for me, I'm reading through the Old Testament once, Psalms twice, and then the New Testament twice. So I finished Psalms and New Testament once, and now I'm starting over. So me waking up early has been helpful because I noticed, especially last school year, you would be coming home, I would come home, and I'd be irritated. I'm like, y'all been going all day. Like, how am I irritated with y'all? Y'all just got in the house. This is a me issue. So I need to create time for myself to get myself together, right? And so I'm navigating all these different hormones, all these things. So that's what I've been doing for myself and waking up early before everyone gets up so I can have my own time.
Yeah, usually when I come home now, you're like happy and you're like, Emma.
How was your day? The
But
goal.
like before, you're like, hi, Emma.
Like, sure, I know. But I think what I'm trying to get better at is when you come home, I don't necessarily, sometimes I have to be in meetings, but I don't necessarily want to be in meetings. So I work from home, y'all, and Daddy works from home too. So sometimes I have to be in meetings, but I want to have my work done for the day so that I could be more present. So I'm still working on that, giving myself grace there. But I love that you said spiritual habit because I think that's really important, whatever that is for you. So if you are not a Christian, you're not a believer like us, what kind of practice are you doing daily to make sure you're grounding yourself and your beliefs? And what did I say for the noun, whom I feel called to serve?
People from the margin.
Meaning that certain bodies of people are centered. So being white people, able-bodied people, and people that meaning don't have physical disabilities, people that have lighter hues of skin, people that have wealth.
We went to this one museum. I think it was the Black Museum in Washington, and there's one part that said like if your skin was lighter than a brown paper bag, like you could like do something, I think.
Oh, so you remember that. I'm trying to think what exhibit that was in, but I know this was a thing historically for certain sororities. It'd be the brown paper bag test, so you couldn't get in certain sororities, which was something you do in college. I feel like I'm going to sneeze.
No, Mommy.
Y'all,
Mommy.
I'm fighting this sneeze.
She's been sneezing all day. Every 5 seconds, she's
literally. It's been horrible. I don't know what's in the air today, but the sneezing, I thought we weren't even going to be able to film today. I was like, there's no way I'm going to be able to do this, Emma. It was so bad. So I did saline. I did all the things to try to like clean whatever's in my nose out. So I fought it. But the brown paper bag was a real thing, and it was within our culture, our African American culture, right?
Sorority before, I don't know.
Yeah. So like Aunt Gag is Alpha Kappa Alpha, like so we go to Alpha Kappa Alpha, AKA. So we go to that tea every year. That's what that is. But there is something like if you were darker than a brown paper bag, you did not belong.
So
I wouldn't have passed the test.
neither.
Right? So then that led to people feeling like they were inferior or not beautiful or welcome or they didn't belong because of the color of their skin. And
That's not true.
right. So people from the margins, that would be a marginalized group. So we would be considered under certain categories, that these made up categories in the world because we're women and girls. Men are centered in this society and because we're African American, white people are centered in this society, that we would be pushed out to the margins. And
Yeah, yesterday we were watching that movie and that boy kissed the other girl without consent. You were like, he needs to ask for consent before he kisses her, or she will kiss him when she's ready.
yeah, because they're sixth graders. We're watching this movie. What's the name of the movie?
God, are you there? It's me, Margaret, I think.
Yeah, and Daddy said it's based off, like, is it Judy Blume books or something like that? I was like, what, is this movie rated? Because
You were like,
I was like, these are sixth graders, but I'm like, and I thought back to, these are games that I played, and I'm trying to think how old I was, but that spin the bottle game and then going into the closet, and I'm like, you don't have consent. This is how girls learned that we are inferior and that we don't have a say. But we know that your body is your own, even from something as what seems simple as someone wanting to touch your hair. No, that's my body. I'm not a petting zoo. Don't touch my hair. This is my personal space. So you do need to have consent. Yes, you're right. Because we went off on a tangent there. Okay, and then 21 and 22 were negative adjectives. So you said hateful and ugly. And what did I say?
You said hateful, and then you said stupid.
Yeah. So now what we're going to do, let's flip it over. Who wants to go first? Who wants to tell the new tale? So my job is, as you're reading it, is just to listen and think about what I'm feeling as you're reading this about me. So you're going to read my tale, and it's titled A New Tale to Tell.
Once upon a time in a far-off land, I, Mommy, was a powerful and divine unicorn with a beautiful stomach. This beautiful stomach gave me the ability of reading people's mind. I used my beautiful stomach to liberate. One day after the great debate, the powers of the great land decided that I must go to the land of humans to help people from the margins, liberate the powers of the great land assured me that I was the only one capable of achieving this mighty and unique task. And with that, I set out on my journey to the land of the humans. In the earlier years, I remember my mighty and unique calling to help people from the margins liberate. But as I got older, the memory of my task began to fade. The powers from the great land knew that they needed to remind me of my mighty and unique task by restoring to me my beautiful stomach so that I would use it to help people from the margins liberate. When I first received my beautiful stomach, I was devastated. I thought it was hateful and stupid. Slowly, however, the powers of the great land restored my former knowledge, and I remembered that I am Mommy, a powerful and divine unicorn.
That's right.
My beautiful stomach is part of my mighty and unique task to help people from the margins liberate. Today, I know I am alive and free, and I am enough. My mighty and unique task required me to radically love all of me. I am grateful for my beautiful stomach for aiding me on my journey and reminding me of my highest calling. All of me is powerful and divine.
Ooh, that's good. That's good. Okay, you ready to hear yours?
Yeah.
A New Tale to Tell. Once upon a time in a far-off land, I, Emma, was a powerful and divine food. You were a food with an amazing forehead. This amazing forehead gave me the ability of time travel. I used my amazing forehead to make people happy. One day, after great debate, the powers of the great land decided that I must go to the land of humans to help God make people happy. The powers of my great land assured me that I was the only one capable of achieving this mighty and unique task. And with that, I set out on my journey to the land of the humans. In the early years, I remembered my mighty and unique calling to help God make people happy. But as I got older, the memory of my task began to fade. The powers of the great land knew that they needed to remind me of my mighty and unique task by restoring to me my amazing forehead so that I could use it to help God make people happy. When I first received my amazing forehead, I was devastated. I thought it was hateful and ugly. Slowly, however, the powers of the great lamb restored my former knowledge, and I remembered that I am Emma, a powerful and divine food. My amazing forehead is part of my mighty and unique task to help God make people happy. Today, I know I am alive, I am free, and I am enough. My mighty and unique task requires me to radically love all of me. I am grateful for my amazing forehead for aiding me on my journey and reminding me of my highest calling. All of me is powerful and divine. That amazing forehead and beautiful stomach.
I didn't know that I would be a food.
That's the funny part about it. You don't know when you're picking them what it's going to actually sound like. And I'm an amazing, or a beautiful unicorn, and you're an amazing food. Okay, so what I love is that was fun. But what I also love is that Sonya puts these questions in here. So let's look at the questions. What she does say in here, though, y'all, just as a disclaimer, she asks people to do these questions in private, which I think is helpful. So we're only going to pick maybe one or two to do publicly, but I think these are good reflection questions because there's something that was coming up for me as I was reading yours that I'm hoping maybe these questions will address. But after reading the story with your partner, take 5 minutes in private to write down your reflections. So in this journal, you'll have an opportunity to do that. But let's look at the questions here. So the first question is, how did it feel having someone read your new story to you?
It was really funny because I didn't know that I would be a food.
Right.
And like and I could like imagine it in my head, just like me walking around as a pizza.
There goes the pizza again.
Just like waddling.
Waddling like a pizza.
Yes, without no legs, no arms. Just like
You're just walking around as a pizza. So you're like, the crust is your bottom, or is the point? Which way are you facing?
the point.
The point's the feet. Well, I think it's kind of cool because what it asks us to do is put a body part that we don't like about ourselves. And then what
Make
she
it
did was reframe it into something positive. So for me, how did it feel having someone read your new story to you? And the someone's important because the someone was you. So having my youngest daughter read the story that was affirming me, I think is really powerful because sometimes or oftentimes we think it has to be the elders that have to affirm people. And what we have learned in the first season and what we learn every day from each other is that even how we started this episode, when I said stomach and you were like, you had 3 kids, mommy, what do you expect? I can look to you for affirmation, or sometimes when I get caught up in thinking that I don't look good, you will correct me and be like, mommy, like, you're perfect, you look good. So I think those things are helpful to be like, okay, my daughter read the story back to me and she read something affirming about me. So I love that. It made me feel, if you had a feeling to attach to it, what did it make you feel? Laughter. So funny, silly. Yes, it made me feel, there was a little bit of awkwardness to it because it's silly, but I think it made me feel seen in a way. Like, oh, that's actually love.
I'm the powerful and divine food.
And you're a pizza.
Yes.
And I'm a beautiful unicorn. Okay,
Don't
so
eat
how?
me.
And a what?
Don't eat me.
But it makes me think food, like if you want to get deep about food, food is nourishment, right? We need food to live. So we need you, like you're nourishing people just with your presence and being who you are. So look, that's deep. What is this? What does this mean? What we do here?
Clock it.
Clock it. Did I clock it, y'all? See, I'm gonna show my. Showing my age. I thought the bars. No, bars is not it either. Suburban black girl.
Oh. I'm so embarrassed. What? Clock
I thought it was clock it.
it.
Anyway, so our other question is, what part of the story resonated for you? What part of the story did not?
Maybe like when it said to make God make people happy.
Yeah, so for you, like the great land decided that you must go to the land of humans to help God make people happy. So that part. And I think the part for me was when she talked about in the early years, I remember my mighty and unique calling. So my calling to help marginalized people be liberated. But what she said in that last sentence there, but as I got older, the memory of my task began to fade. The powers of the great land knew that they needed to remind me of my mighty and unique task by restoring to me my amazing, so I said beautiful stomach so that I could use it to help people from the margins be liberated. So I think the part that resonated with me was that as I got older, the memory of who God created me to be faded. And I think Pastor even talked about it a little bit today, but like as we get older, we forget or we lose sight of it. So he was reading from First Kings, or like when King Solomon, he was chosen by God, like he honored God, he worshiped God, and then he got super rich and famous and forgot about God. And that happens with some people, right? Like you forget where you came from and you get too big for your britches, as older people would say. But I love this. It's
That
like
would
I had to
never
remind you. You need a reminder. So you are a reminder. Because as I look at you, I look at myself much older and say, like, ooh, it's a spark in you that as you get older, sometimes you get further and further away from. That this practice, just talking with you, this intergenerational dialogue is what we call it, the big word, helps people, older people, to remember our purpose, to go back to that childlike wonder and wisdom, because there's something amazing about that we have to remember and restore. So that's the part that resonated with me. And then, is there a part that didn't?
The food part.
Like being a food. But
Yeah,
listen,
that
I
was
just said
funny. That was just
it was funny, but also like food and thinking about the purpose of food being nourishment. I thought that was just deep. I just dropped some wisdom there. I'm just saying. You nourish people.
Or it could be a chicken nugget.
Because you got that chicken nugget wisdom. That's right. And for me, right, the part that didn't resonate, or maybe that the part of the story that maybe didn't resonate as much would be, I don't know, because it said, what did I say? Beautiful stomach. But if I reframe that, like thinking about your stomach, so if we talked about gut, like our guts, like honoring what it might be coming up for us, or intuition. So thinking about that and being attuned to that. So I think I could reframe it like that. So the last thing she says on the page is, do you believe a different story would be more powerful for you? If so, write it down. So she gives you some space to write down a new story. But I think this was a really, really good practice to help people think about how we see ourselves, and how even if it's silly, sometimes the silliness is an invitation to take it more seriously. So do something silly, do something funny, but there's truth in that, right?
I'm always silly and funny.
Yeah, and like we as adults need to be doing more of that. So
I make you laugh every day.
almost. I don't make you laugh. You got embarrassed by me saying, clock it. But y'all, if you have not gotten this book, Your Body Is Not an Apology workbook, it's actually the workbook to the actual book, which I absolutely love.
Or the puberty.
The puberty book. So I will link both of those, because for someone who is navigating the throes of puberty as a 10-year-old, it is a very age-appropriate book. But Sonya Renee Taylor, we love her as an author. We love her as a thought leader. We love her as someone who speaks truth to power and calls us to our higher self and radically self-loving.
We love you.
Yes. So thank you for putting this out into the world. As I was going through and navigating, I was like, oh, this would be a really cool practice to do with Emma. So Emma, as we wrap up our season 2, ending on your chicken nugget wisdom, like how do you practice joy as resistance?
Do things you like.
And do things you like. So what do you like? So I think you really like the Mad Lib. So we can do things that might be silly, but we know that silliness sometimes helps us to tap into our joy and also a deeper truth. So some comedians who do things in jest are speaking truth. And there's a comedian that recently was silenced because of this. because he was speaking truth to power, so they canceled his show or put him on suspension. So you think about that, like how do we do more of those things in a world that wants to tell us what we can and cannot say? That certain people that look a certain way can say whatever they want to say, and then certain people that look like us have to be quiet. So I think joy as resistance is that even when the world is on fire, we know that joy is something that no one can take away. The world didn't give it to it. The world can't take it away. And even though you said only one night though, right? Joy comes in the morning. So I think for you, do what you love, finding joy in that. So your chicken nugget wisdom again.
Do what you like.
Do what you like.
If it's drawing,
Yeah.
painting, cooking, baking, anything, even gardening.
Yeah. So I think that would be a really good practice for this week, y'all, is find something that you like. And I'll add to that, like, not even if you struggle with that, because some people don't know what they like because they're so busy being adults. Remember, we talked about that in season 1. Think about the youth. Think about Emma. Think about when you were Emma's age. What are the things that you loved to do? And for this week, we invite you to just do one of those things.
I'm so happy you joined me and Mommy for this episode of Living in 3D Power. I hope you had a spectacular time watching this, and I hope this reminded you of joy. And now I have a favor before you leave. Subscribe to our YouTube channel or Substack, and make sure you're subscribed wherever you listen to podcasts. If something we said made you smile or sparked joy in you, send this to a family member or friend. Okay, one more favor. I know those are a lot of favors. Head over to the comments on our social media. Tell us what's deep for you, because your words spread joy and encourage other people, and they encourage us too. See you next time.